people to be here in this land of America. And we're mindful of those that keep us safe, those that wear a badge and uniform. Be with those that protect us and watch over them. Help us to be an example while we live here in this country and even this community. We're thankful for the blessings you've showered upon us. So be with us today as we make wise decisions and grant us the wisdom needed and necessary to run this country and run this county. We pray it all in the name of Christ. Amen. To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You have the agenda in front of you for April 21st. You have a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
All right. Yep, second, sorry. I'm waiting for Mike to say second. All in favor?
Aye.
2-0. All right, we had payroll of $300,868.96. Claims of $1,032,891.03. Can I get a motion to approve those?
Motion to approve the financials.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0. Sheriff Holiday.
Couple things here. First off, we have 64 inmates in jail. 40 of those are pretrial circuit. 16 are pretrial superior, 4 DOC, and no F6s. I had, the last, 6 months ago, we were contacted by the state, Indiana Supreme Court, on the possibility of them obtaining funding for a fingerprint machine. We do that digitally. We don't use ink prints anymore. We haven't for years. Since I've been there in 20 plus years, we've had 2 different machines. Those used to be supplied by the state through funding. The last time we got one, they had told us at the time that we probably would be responsible for purchasing our next one. That was probably close to 7, 8 plus years ago. We were contacted in the last 6 months by the Indiana Supreme Court Technology Division stating that there was a possibility that they would secure funding. They kind of took polls around the state of how old our machines were and just asked if they were able to secure it, if we would be interested in replacing ours. Of course, I said yes. Those things are about $10,000 to $20,000. They did secure the funding. They did contact me about it. About receiving one, and they sent a conveyance of equipment agreement. There's no cost to us. They did all the work as far as the funding, but with our contracting stipulations, I did send it to the county attorney. They are wanting signatures. There's no cost to us other than we pay a maintenance agreement through the type and brand that we use, which is part of my budget yearly anyways. There's no cost to get it. We get a fingerprint machine, the printer that goes along with it. There's a tray or a cabinet that we use to do that with. So I did send that. That should have been sent out to you. They're wanting, I did send the agreement to Ted. Ted, I don't know if you had any issues with that agreement, but I'm asking for permission from from commissioners to be able to sign that so I can get on the list to obtain that fingerprint machine.
There are actually 2 contracts that were submitted by the Supreme Court and the court administration to the sheriff for the conveyance of equipment. I've reviewed both, and both are acceptable under our policies, so those could be approved and executed tonight by the Board of Commissioners.
There's 2 because there's 2 different brands of that are major players in the fingerprint machine business. We use the iTouch live scan. So there's 2 because one was for one brand, one was for the other. There's a little bit of difference, but we had told them back when they first contacted us what we had and what we would like. So it would just be one agreement that I would sign.
And which one is it?
The iTouch,
And the other was the NEC?
yes.
Okay.
We currently have the iTouch, and that's the one I would ask for permission to be able to sign to continue this.
My understanding from Sheriff Holliday is that it's already within his budget to have the ongoing maintenance agreements and any connectivity issues, so there wouldn't be any additional costs. So again, I have no objection. I think the conveyance of equipment agreement for the iTouch Accurate ID is appropriate for the commissioners to execute.
I'll make that form of a motion to allow the iTouch.
For the sheriff to sign. Second, all in favor?
And this would have to be executed by the commissioners for the sheriff, because it's for the county.
Okay. So you'll have a copy we can sign?
I have a copy right here too, unless you have one.
Mine is double-sided. I mean, it's, those are probably better.
Make sure you get the right one.
The only other thing is an update on the sewer system. I think where I reported last was we had contacted
Solus O'Brien?
Solus O'Brien. They've provided us with prints to submit for bid. One being repair for the kitchen lines as one separate project, and then the other one would be to for long-term fix for exterior stuff. I think the next stages is to get those out through an RFP processor for bidding process. So you can speak on that more.
Yeah, so I talked to Greg O'Brien today to make sure the layout for the kitchen is ready to go because it's urgent. I'm looking at Nate because I told him I need to talk to him tomorrow, but I'm spilled out there now. I was gonna lean on Nate to see if he could help me get the RFQs ready. And then we really need to look at Plan B about what's the long-term layout of that, so.
Okay.
Give me till tomorrow to see what.
Okay.
Nate can
Sounds good.
guide
It's
us on RFQs, so we can figure out how to get that out.
still on the radar, but no updates different than the last meeting at this point. So
Kitchen's urgent, though.
it is. I mean, it doesn't stop us from doing what we're doing, but it is something that needs to get fixed. We've had to move some storage around to accommodate where we had already done some work, so.
Meet with the county engineer and make sure we've got everything in line, and they'll.
Yeah, and just so I'm clear, there's nothing, I had somebody from the health department, because I reported it last time, question me about what's going on with the kitchen. It's a drain line for the dishwasher. Obviously, there's a bigger issue underground that we're dealing with, but there's nothing, I don't have stuff coming up out of the lines or dealing with anything in the kitchen, so I reassured them that there's no issues there. So, but it is something that needs fixed.
Invite them out to look at it and just.
Yeah, they're welcome to come. They'll come anytime they want anyway, so. But that's all I got.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, Scott.
Mr. Lip.
Thank you.
All right, hello, everyone. Last time I was here, I had presented the numbers for the county renewal, and I had also given some options on deductibles for a collision on the autos and also deductible options on the property. And I'll just go over this a little more in detail, just to clarify. Currently, we have a $1,000 collision deductible on the autos, and I had quoted taking them to $2,500 on collision. Jeff had asked me how many claims that had involved, and I went through the claims list, and that was 2 collision losses in the last 5 years. One was around $19,170 on 8/9 of 20, and then you had another one on 10/7 of 24 that was around $1,421. So, there's been two collision claims on the auto policy in the last 5 years. So, I think that would be, it will save you $6,593 off the premium. I would recommend it. And like I said, I presented it at the last meeting for you guys to review and go over. And I think that the topic of discussion was basically how many claims we had. That was actual collision. Now, there's been property damage, comprehensive and stuff like that, that aren't gonna have the deductibles it's going to take, like what collision would be, but I wanted to provide that. And then also, currently, you've got a $25,000 property deductible, and we had presented an optional $50,000 deductible. That would save $11,538. In the last 10 years, you've had around 5 property claims, totaling anywhere from $23,000, $17,800, $12,600 to $5,100 roughly. So I'm not as apt to make that move. I would probably recommend staying at the 25,000 deductible level, but I certainly would encourage you to look at auto collision deductible if it were me. But of course, I mean, that's obviously, I just wanted to present it so you guys could make an educated decision on it. So I don't know if there's any other questions to me on anything else that has to do with the coverages. It becomes, the policy renews on May 1. So we would just need a signed statement of values and the okay to bind coverage, and that would be all I would need.
What's your thoughts on deductibles?
Definitely, I think the collision should be changed from 1,000 to the 2,500. I would support that move. What did you say the total claim amount was for the property?
There were 5 in the last 10 years. There's been 5 property claims.
For a total of?
It's going to be $65,000 or so, roughly.
But each claim is under the deductible, so you
Yeah.
would have had it anyway.
Right.
Yeah, you wouldn't even have had a claim is basically, and right now you've got a $25,000 deductible, so you wouldn't have had a claim, currently too. These were all in the past. We had made those changes, I think, a year or so ago. Yeah, so like I said, going to the 50,000 on property is gonna save you 11,538 for the year.
I'll leave that one up to you.
I say we keep that one the same, but want to make that as a motion on the first one?
Yeah. Change the $1,000 collision to a $2,500 deductible for collision.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0. So we'll change that one to, the first one to 25.
Okay?
We'll leave the second one.
Leave the second one as quote, as the first option quote at 25,
Right.
okay?
Then we need a motion to accept the policies, the renewals. I did, Dan, when I was going through that list, I went through it again over the weekend. Did we go out for additional bids
Yes,
this year or
last-
just last year?
This last year we went, last year we did, and we went to pretty much all of the carriers, Jeff, that would be in the game for a county and a jail.
But that was last renewal, right?
It was, yes, and we didn't have anyone, Liberty had gone through and done an inspection and everything, and then they pulled their quote at the last minute. And EMC Public Risk, they weren't competitive. Astra declined to quote. Travelers declined. Liberty Mutual declined. So, I mean, we actually didn't even have a quote. And I can tell you, in talking with Connor and who was here last time, I mean, we kind of know where the market is on this type of exposure. And this is different than, I mean, with the jail, it's exposures that are different than some of the other municipalities. That's just, Bliss has been extremely competitive. And like I said, I believe you've been with them for it's been 15, 20 years that you've been with Bliss McKnight. And IPEP, which is the work comp that renewed 2-1. And they write 60 to 70% of this type of risk in the state of Indiana. So I'm pretty confident that the rates should be competitive, I would think. And I wouldn't think, I should know. And because we did go out and we did do this last year. And we can do it again if you want next year, if that's something you want to go through it again and go through the process. If you ask me that's what you want to do, we can do it. But it's a 90 to 120 day process before the renewal at least. They want to get on the risk at least before 90 days. I would say 120 would be ideal, which that's what most typical, a lot of people won't even quote if it's less than 90 days. So
I need a motion to accept the renewals, if you're in agreement.
Just for clarification, the reasons. The clarification we're renewing is the policies. The policies or the coverage and the agent.
We're gonna renew all for now.
Okay. Then I'll make that motion.
I second that, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0. So do you have,
yes, I have the statement of values here to be signed. Property values we went over last meeting.
Ted, do I need a motion that I can sign this?
Yep.
Actually, this needs only your signature for the fingerprint
Okay.
machine or whatever.
So, I need you to revise that motion to say that I can sign this on behalf of the commissioners.
To allow the president to sign the document for the insurance.
Second that, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0. At least we'll need a copy of that when you.
Yep. We signed it all this too. Thank you.
Thanks. Okay, Mr. Bonar.
Good evening.
Sean?
Start with a highlight of what we've been doing. We've been out taking care of some of the blowouts and the patching. 2 patchers out taking care of that whenever the weather allows us. When it gets really cold, we can't do it. We have issues with the machines freezing up and getting clogged. We also brought in equipment marketing sales that sells us the total patchers, and we went through a training session to be sure that we protect the environment with what we're carrying and how we're repairing the roads. So we spent a half a day, everybody learning how to take care of those properly. Currently, we're out working on all the road conversions, getting the front ditches or the front slopes and the ditches cut in correctly. We have all the stone in. Once we have our ditches set, we'll be planting seed so we can get the vegetation to grow so we can reduce our erosion. And we plan on having all of those chip and sealed in June, July area. We're going out and cleaning a lot of ditches with the wind and the high waters that we've had. We've noticed a lot of ditches that are getting plugged up and clogged, so we're scouting all ditches and making sure they're free for water to flow. We are still taking dust control signups. It will be ending April 28th, and that price is still $207 a linear foot. You can come to the highway department or apply online. Down to our projects. On the local tracks update, we have EMB has completed the main pole with the OG, the binder, and the intermediate. They're waiting for the last layer of surface to go on so they can pull that in one complete pass. But as of tomorrow, we will be closing down, or they will be closing down Adams Street and 200 South to start making the connection and milling out the 1,000 foot of Adams Street to install a turn lane and widen that intersection, as well as closing down where they're going to connect the new Hoosier to the old Hoosier. But we will have 250 and 300 South open to be able to cross over the new Hoosier, just not travel on it. So we're trying to be as convenient as we possibly can with the traffic. I know it's going to be an issue with as much traffic as we have on Adams Street. Detours are laid out where they can come from the south. It shouldn't affect a lot of them from the north. And they have signs directing them in the right way, but I'm sure we're still going to have some issues.
did you say this?
4 weeks.
4 weeks?
Yes. And when those are connected and complete, then we'll shut down the old Hoosier and all the cul-de-sacs will start going in and the railroad crossings will get closed. Bridge 51, which is on 300 West down by Southern Wells, that is still on schedule to be opened on May 1st. The approaches have been poured, the brake test came back passing. The pavement is complete up to the approaches, the guardrail's being installed tomorrow, and the pavement markings next week. So I'm sure we're gonna have a lot of happy people with that road being open. They've done a great job on that bridge. We haven't had any issues with it along the way, and I'm really happy with how it went. Bridge 106, they're working on pinning the arches, getting rid of the false work. They got minor delays with the excess water we had. They had to do a lot of cleanup 2 different times with the water rushing through there, and they're completed with all the false work. Now they're gonna start going back together. We're still looking at an expected completion of 11/7 on that job. I did not put on there the county home road. We have not started it. It was supposed to start last week. I have not had a meeting with them or been in contact. I ran out of time today. I foresee it starting here real soon, and we also have all the detours up for that as well. We have pretty much the same issues with the highway garage. I haven't had a lot of contact with Connor as I've been busy with other things, but we have an added issue that I thought it was just going to be a fluke. But our fence gate with high winds approximately 3 weeks ago got bent and broke. So we tucked it back, held it in. I got a hold of a mobile welder. We come up with a plan. We put it back together. It worked great. Well, evidently the winds were so high this morning when it opened automatically, it got a foot out of the hanger and it broke in the same spot. So he come back, he fixed his welds there. We added another brace on, but I think we also removed half of those slats to try to let airflow go through. My next step is removing all of them, or I don't know that our gate is actually strong enough for as long as it is with the wind direction, because this is twice now this gate is broke. And I don't know if it's a design flaw or what, but we need to find a permanent fix so we don't keep having our gate break.
Is that a drag wheel that keeps it on the ground on the far end?
It's got 4 rollers, 2 on top, 2 on bottom.
Not a wheel that touches the ground?
No.
I'll come out there tomorrow and we'll look at
On the gate itself?
Yeah.
Okay.
it. That way it can't drag
Yeah.
up against the ground.
Well, it's in and out is where our major issue is. So if there was a wheel, it would keep it from going either direction. So like okay. Yeah.
We'll come look at it tomorrow.
All right.
I can give you an update. Louvers, I talked to PCI today. They're going to issue a PO for the HVAC to Connor, so that'll be done. Louvers, they're going to contest that they're working as designed. We have to talk about that one.
We could probably address that with the building not being sealed up as tight as it should be is why the louvers are opening and letting the heat escape. Any questions from any of that? All right, we got the annual report. I apologize I didn't have time to review it last meeting. I'm just going to hit a couple highlights here. We ran a little short on spending our 50% of our MBH restricted, which leaves us with about $100,000 that will transfer into next year that I feel we can just add into road conversions and try to do a little more with road conversions. Also, I was going to point out that we, with the unexpended money that we've had and how we roll it through the bank, we have accumulated $90,000 in interest. And then also with the permits that we have been putting in process and running the scrap metal through a company that just collects it themselves. We throw it in a dumpster, they come get it, take it, send us a check after every 30 days. And we have collected $15,000 last year. So those are just a couple changes that have been made from previous annual reports. Except for the interest, that was always there, but I try to spend little, make a lot, and conserve. And I think with our permitting process, we were spending the money for individuals to go monitor it. Now we at least get a little bit reimbursement. It's not the entire cost, but it helps out.
So we have to approve the report.
I'll accept, make a motion to accept this report.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
That's all I have.
Thanks for bringing that up. I'll get,
Your mower.
oh yeah, you got.
Oh, yeah, the mower. I didn't bring that paperwork either. We had two bidders out of, I got it. We had two bidders out of 5 I sent out RFQs for, and Bobcat came back the cheapest. And I'm real happy with their track loader that we got with the purchase. I was never a Bobcat fan, but the track loader is probably one of the best I've been in now, so I don't think we'll have an issue with our zero-turn mowers.
Just one?
Yes.
We accept the $7,900 bid, is that what we're accepting, Lisa?
Yes. Compared to the 11,000.
Right, I'll make that motion.
I'll second, all in favor? 2-0. Thanks, sir.
All right. Thank you.
Mr. Whitaker.
Good evening. Start with a brief update on the County Road 500 West realignment with Rock Creek. I told you that we've been working towards reaching final construction plans for that road realignment, and Miller Land Surveying did release final construction plans to the quarry last week. So that should be all wrapped up, and they should be putting that out for bid, I would assume, soon.
You've had a chance to look at all that and you're happy several times, too many times. You're good with everything on there?
Yeah, I think so.
More than a handful.
Yeah. Utility permits, we've just got one this week. B&M Ashman on behalf of MediaCom. This is just north of US 224 on County Road 75 East. Pretty straightforward. I think I sent that permit to you guys, so you can see it's just a straight run of conduit for some fiber. I recommend approval of that.
Make a motion to accept the utility permit.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0.
Last Monday at 1 p.m., we had bid openings for the Meridian Road Community Crossings project. We received 2 bids, one from Brooks Construction and one from E&B Paving. Brooks Construction had the low bid at $360,822.76. E&B close behind at $367,782.76. So the bids were within $7,000.
That's
It's
close for
tight.
Yeah.
extremely tight for
Yep.
a project that size.
So as far as next steps, I sent out the LPA contractor agreement late last week. So you guys should have a copy of that. If not, I brought one. So I'm requesting signatures for that contract, and then that'll allow me to put together the submittal packet to send to NDOT so that they'll release the funds for the community crossings.
Is that for all the commissioners or just the president?
It's all of the commissioners.
I'll make that motion to accept that document.
I'll second it, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0.
And you guys have a copy for signature then? Okay. Finally, Bridge 54, I was sent final tracings plans last week, and the designer also sent over a PDF of the title block for the cover sheet. So I brought along a copy tonight for signatures, if that's okay.
It's a standard form agreement, so no discussion.
Okay. Make a motion to approve that.
Seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
2-0.
That is everything I have for this evening.
I'll call you tomorrow and see if you can help with RFQs for the county garage.
Okay.
Got some time. Do you need a copy of that? The bridge. judge pulled out of the meeting today, waiting for some more information.
Okay.
So we have the street board, Nathan.
Okay.
Good evening. I am Nathan Stauffer. I'm here representing the, on behalf of the Street Fair Board as the Street Fair Manager. And I am coming, we are requesting the use of the plaza during the fair like we do annually as the first request that we have. Always appreciate that, and actually started to expand the usage of what events we're doing down there in the plaza as well.
Need a motion to approve that?
$1,500, I'll make that motion to accept and give them a donation.
I'll second that.
Permission to use the plaza.
I'll second the use of that. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen.
That was easy, huh?
It was, yep.
Thanks, Nathan.
Thanks.
All right, family service, family-centered services. Lisa. Good evening.
Good evening. I'm Lisa Antrim. I'm representing Family Centered Services tonight, and we are looking for funding like you normally give us for our youth programming. That is something that we've been using it for. We find it very helpful because those are some of the smaller programs in our agency. We've had them for quite a while. Teen Court is one of them. Youth as Resources. We have several classes for youth, detours and signals, as well as our new program, CARES. And that is casework and therapy. We are also working with some of the schools to do some new groups with some of their kids at the school, as well as perhaps have our therapists there once a week. So we're trying to do some new things with the program, reach out to our community partners and see what the needs are in the community. And so we're basically kind of expanding the CARE program, the schools and different agencies all refer to that program, as well as DCS. Of course, DCS provides their own funding, so we wouldn't be asking for DCS funding for that, but anything that is not a referral from them, we would be looking to help pay for with this.
Last year, the funding was 20,000. That's the same request this year is 20,000?
And we have that allocated, so I'm going to motion that we provide that 20,000.
I'll second that motion. All in favor?
Aye.
2-0.
Just as clarification, for what time period is this
This is for
contract and
next
request?
year. You approved it last year for this year.
Right.
Yep. Our standard form talks about 2026. I just wanted to be sure because the prior contract was for 2025, so, okay.
Thanks for what you do and helping the youth.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Mr. Lotzenheiser and his Mylar, special pen.
All right, so I'm here representing the Plat Committee's approval of the secondary subdivision plat for Timberline Estates. Timberline Estates located on County Road 300 East Wayne Street, just south of the city of Bluffton, on the unincorporated side of the road. They are developing 8 lots with a private driveway and connecting to city sewer. The lots will be serviced by private well. It is the section of that property that is south of the Panhandle gas line that runs through there. So at this point, we're requesting the approval of the secondary plat and the acceptance of it by the county commissioners.
Each lot will have its own well, or is one community?
It'll be individual wells per lot is the design.
And this will hook at the pump station where? The one that's southwest?
It'll hook up to the existing sanitary sewer that runs along Wayne Street. It also services the houses on the other side of Bills Creek, on the south side, the same line.
I'll make a motion to accept this.
I'll second that. All in favor?
Okay. As part of that, there are 2 copies for you to sign. Here's the pen to do that. Get that done.
What's the master plan for that? How many homes? Is there another?
So there will be a second phase sometime in the future.
Yeah.
Second or third, or 2 or 3 phases.
Yeah, the 36-inch or 30-inch gas line. Yeah, right here. Is this that special pen?
Yep.
Can't do without a stamp.
I know. Penmanship class in school, not me.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Thanks, sir.
Report.
All right, cemetery.
Jerry wasn't able to come tonight. She's been ill, and so I'm here in her place. So in the folders are some of the documents that you already received regarding the contract for Murray, but also agendas and minutes from our last couple of meetings, and pictures that one of our board members took of the Murray Cemetery to give you an idea of some of the conditions.
And we were just out there a few hours ago, meeting with the contractor, Gene. He just got back from his annual getting recertified and all that stuff out in Virginia. So we met with him, walked around, discussed exactly what he was going to start when he gets started, what he was doing, and everything seems to be good. All the ducks are in a row. We're going to concentrate on, like I said, the military ones, and some of the ones are in that general area when we're in that area working, and just start from there. And our goal is to report to you guys every 30 days with update of where we started, where we're at, so you guys are on board all the way through, and go from there.
This is a big step right here, just having the minutes and documenting what's going on, and just making sure the public has the ability to be to the meetings, so appreciate that with an agenda. So my question, and Ted, this might be more directed to you, that when you look at this first page in the docket, it says we're signing for 50. You flip over to the contract and it says 174.
I'm going to suggest that we clarify that with the cemetery board while they're here. And that if there is approval by the commissioners to move forward with this agreement, that you also direct the cemetery board to work with me to come up with an appropriate contract for the county, the cemetery board, and this particular vendor.
Obviously, we budgeted that $50,000 because we want to commit that we're making the repairs, but we need to make sure we're doing it the right way, so.
Right, that's my whole concern is that we've agreed to a certain dollar amount. I don't want to be on the record that we approved 174,000 unless we have other criteria that we have to meet.
And the vendor actually had the original one-page contract that you have now made changes to it because he had included the full amount, and we requested that he specify 50,000. And so then if you look after the bid, it's like multiple pages for the 174,000, he does kind of an additional line item of what's possible with 50,000.
So this should probably be an exhibit in a contract.
And we are out there today, we were discussing some of those he has marked. There's some stones that they're just too far gone. So not to spend any money, just move past and get the ones that makes the most bang for your buck. Because like he said on that sheet, we've already knocked off like 10 of those that's in that yearly ones and started in the next phase if we have time, because, you know, that was just on the row up the row and row 8. We just stopped at today because we're like, hey, we don't need to go that far. We just need to get this part started. Like I said, we started knocking some off because I said some, because that 170 was to do a complete restoration. That's how he had to do the bid. But breaking it down, you know, there's just obvious no reason to do some of them. Some of them are just 10 pieces. Some of them are just one half. Some are just fell over.
So I think
So-
to Ted's point, that's what we need in the contract is, what are we paying for $50,000? So we've already allocated the money. And so once we get that contract done, let's just get the contract presented, approved and signed.
Okay. So just so I know, I'm now given direction to move forward with the cemetery board in order to prepare an appropriate contract for $50,000.
Agreed, Commissioner?
And would you like us to come again to present that same contract, or are you, once it's been created, are you willing to?
I'll present it to the board once we have a final agreement in place.
I think it should be detailed like this. It says, what are we getting for 50,000? Which ones will be repaired? That way you can go back, we can go back and audit it and say, all right, here's the ones that were fixed. It's kind of sad that we've got some that are so destroyed that we'll never know who they are.
Got to a certain point, yeah, we just missed out. Should have done it years ago, so.
But we're starting to allocate money to it, so it's working.
Got to start somewhere.
Thanks for pushing.
We never had a board when I started as a commissioner, so it's a great step in the right direction.
Should I reach out to you, Ms. Wicker, then? Or should I reach out to Jerry or to you? Sir?
Reach out to me.
Reach out to you, great. Let's make sure I have, Chris, your email before we leave
Okay.
today. And you don't have to put that on the record, but just make sure I have it so we can
No
discuss
problem.
this. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Monthly reports, Lisa?
They're all in your packet.
Okay.
The only miscellaneous business is the Bluffton utility easement, and I believe there was another right-of-way from area plan.
That's correct. We've already approved the utility permit as part of the engineers portion of the meeting. We have a easement agreement, right-of-way that comes through area plan. This is for part of Wells County Road 1100 North between County Road 450 East and State Road 1, so I seek your approval for that.
Got a motion to
Okay.
accept that?
Thank you. And then we've been working with the city of Bluffton for a comprehensive utility easement. My recollection is that this is for a portion of the property at the new jail that we currently haven't developed. My understanding is there's no plans to develop. So my firm, along with the city attorney, have prepared a granted easement that's appropriate for the commissioners to consider and approve.
That easement is for the power line to the new substation.
Yep, exactly.
Bluffton City Utilities.
It's called partnership. Yeah. I'll make that motion.
I'll
Accept that
second
easement.
both those motions for the easements in the right of way. All in favor?
Aye.
2-0. That's it? Anything from the audience? Big turnout, but they're all quiet. Holly?
Wide open.
Lisa? Commissioner? Yeah, Commissioner?
I'm good.
Ted?
The only thing, I need to continue to work with Ms. Studebaker to come up with an appropriate request for proposal for that area ordinance. So we'll continue to work on that. She had submitted some documents, I just haven't had a chance to get to them.
Have a motion to adjourn?